I spent $8,000 on my disabled brother's dream Disney trip, but my parents gave our tickets to my cousin instead. What they didn't know is that I work there. My brother Isaac has cerebral palsy and he's been obsessed with Disney since he was 5. Mickey Mouse ears, Toy Story marathons, the whole deal. For his 18th birthday, I wanted to do something special. 8 months of saving every penny from my retail job at Target, skipping movies, eating ramen, working double shifts on weekends, all to surprise him with a week at Disney World. I planned everything perfectly. Fast passes for all his favorite rides, character breakfast at Chef Mickey's, dinner at Beast's Castle. I even got us matching Buzz Lightyear shirts because Toy Story is his absolute favorite. The look on his face when I told him was worth every hour I worked. He started crossing off days on his calendar with a red marker. 2 days before we're supposed to leave, Mom calls me while I'm folding laundry. Change of plans, honey. Your cousin Savannah is going instead. I almost dropped the phone. What do you mean Savannah's going? Isaac wouldn't appreciate it anyway. Too many crowds, too much walking. You know how he gets overwhelmed. I'm speechless. Savannah is my aunt's daughter, the golden child who gets everything handed to her. New car for her 16th birthday, Europe trip for graduation, full college tuition paid. She's never worked a day in her life. But Mom, I planned this specifically for Isaac. I saved for 8 months. She sighs like I'm being dramatic. Savannah just got into college. She deserves a celebration trip. Besides, Isaac can watch the Disney Channel. He'll be just as happy. My heart breaks. Isaac had been practicing his autograph book, asking me which characters we'd meet first. What about all the accessibility planning I did? The wheelchair rental? The special dietary requests? Savannah doesn't need that stuff. She'll actually enjoy the rides. That stung. Like Isaac's happiness didn't matter because it looked different. What my parents didn't know. I've been working at Disney World as a character performer for the past year. Weekend shifts, playing Buzz Lightyear at meet and greets. I kept it secret because I knew they'd start asking for money if they found out. They already guilt-tripped me about Isaac's medical expenses. I made one phone call to my manager, Jennifer, explained the whole situation. She was furious. That's horrible. Let me see what I can do. 2 hours later, she called back. I talked to guest relations. We're making this right. The next morning, I knocked on Isaac's bedroom door with a Mickey Mouse envelope. His eyes lit up when he saw it. What's this, sis? I thought Mom said. Forget what Mom said. We're going. Inside were brand new tickets just for us two, but not the regular package I'd originally bought. Jennifer had upgraded us to a 5-day VIP experience with a suite at Grand Floridian, complete with a personal guide. We're still going, buddy. Just you and me. His smile could have powered the whole Magic Kingdom. He started happy stimming, flapping his hands the way he does when he's excited. Meanwhile, Savannah showed up at the park entrance with the original tickets I had canceled. Security politely informed her they were no longer valid. She called my mom, screaming, demanding to know what happened. The tickets don't work. This is so embarrassing. I was already inside the park watching Isaac's face as Buzz Lightyear walked up to him for a personal meet and greet. I'd arranged it through work, scheduling it during my shift so I could be there in costume. To infinity and beyond, Space Ranger Isaac, I said in my Buzz voice. Isaac started crying happy tears. Buzz, you're real. You're actually real. He hugged me so tight I almost couldn't breathe through the costume. Other families stopped to watch, smiling at his pure joy. My phone buzzed with angry texts from Mom. How could you do this to Savannah? She's devastated. She already posted about the trip on Instagram, but I was too busy watching my brother's pure joy to care. We're at our final character dinner when a woman sits down at our table uninvited. You don't know me, but I'm your dad's estate lawyer. She slides a folder toward me. Your grandfather died last month, left everything to be split between his grandchildren, but only if they're living with family. Your parents are trying to get full custody of Isaac to control his half of the inheritance. That's why they're doing all this? $2 million. Before I can process this, the woman's phone rings. Her face goes pale as she listens. I'm so sorry. Your parents just filed an emergency psychiatric hold. They're claiming you're mentally unstable and dangerous. The police are already here to take you in, and once you're gone, they're taking Isaac tonight. I looked at the lawyer, my hands gripping the edge of the table so hard my knuckles turned white. The cloth napkin in my lap had twisted into a tight rope between my fingers. What do you mean they're here? Right now? At the park. 2 Orange County Sheriff's deputies are at guest services right now with paperwork claiming you're experiencing an acute mental health crisis and pose a danger to yourself and your brother. They have what appears to be a valid court order signed by a Judge Hendricks. My mind raced. The room felt like it was tilting. The cheerful Disney music playing over the restaurant speakers suddenly sounded distorted and wrong. Isaac was sitting 3 feet away, coloring a Mickey Mouse picture the server had given him, completely oblivious. He was humming the Toy Story theme song under his breath, his tongue sticking out slightly in concentration the way it always did when he focused hard on something. He had no idea that our parents were trying to have me dragged out of here in handcuffs. I pulled out my employee badge, the one I always kept in my wallet tucked behind my driver's license. The photo on it showed me in my Buzz Lightyear costume, smiling. It felt like that picture was from a different lifetime. I need to make a call. Now. The lawyer, Rebecca, nodded quickly. You have maybe 5 minutes before they locate you. This restaurant is on their list of places to check. Your mother apparently told them you'd mentioned eating here. How would she know that? I never told her our plans. She probably guessed. It's listed in your old booking confirmation, the one she had access to before you canceled. Rebecca pulled out her phone. I'm calling my partner. We need legal representation here immediately. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. I pulled up my contacts and found Jennifer's direct number. She was probably at home by now. It was almost 8 p.m. I pressed call anyway. She answered on the second ring. Her voice was relaxed, probably thinking this was a casual call. Hey, how's the dinner going? Isaac, having fun? Jennifer, I need help. Right now. My voice cracked. The police are here. At the park. My parents filed a psychiatric hold against me and they're trying to take me into custody. There was a beat of silence. Then her voice changed completely. Professional. Sharp. Focused. Where are you exactly? Beast's Castle. Second floor, table near the back windows. Do not move. Do not leave that table. I'm calling security right now and I'm calling our legal team. She was already talking to someone else. Her voice muffled. Get me Tony Rivera and Gerald Chambers. Now. Then back to me. Listen to me carefully. You are a Disney employee. This is Disney property. We have jurisdiction here, and we do not allow law enforcement to remove our employees without proper verification. Do you understand? Yes, but they have a court order. A court order that was obtained fraudulently, Rebecca cut in, leaning close to my phone so Jennifer could hear. This is Rebecca Walsh. I'm the family attorney. The psychiatric evaluation was never performed. The doctor who signed it was out of state. Who is this? Jennifer asked. My grandfather's lawyer, I said. She came here to warn me about the inheritance. Jennifer was quiet for 3 seconds. Okay, I'm 10 minutes away. Tony is 5 minutes away. He's our head of security. Gerald is our senior legal counsel and he lives in Winter Park, so he'll be there in 15. Tony will have people at every exit from that restaurant in 3 minutes. Those deputies are not getting anywhere near you until we verify this order is legitimate. The relief that washed over me was so intense I felt dizzy. Thank you. You're our employee. We protect our own. Stay on the line with me. Isaac looked up from his coloring. Sis, you okay? You're shaking. I forced a smile, trying to keep my voice steady even though my heart was hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. I'm fine, buddy. Just some work stuff. Keep coloring. You're doing such a good job on Mickey's ears. He beamed and went back to his picture, adding red to Mickey's shorts with careful strokes. Rebecca was typing frantically on her phone. I'm documenting everything. Every second of this. Timestamps, locations, everything. If they try to claim you were uncooperative or violent, we'll have a complete record. Through the phone, I could hear Jennifer talking to someone else. She was in her car, the sound of the engine starting in the background. Tony, I'm sending you her exact location now. Table 12, second floor, northwest corner. I want eyes on her in 2 minutes. No one approaches that table without clearance. I don't care if they have a warrant signed by the governor himself. We verify first. A male voice responded, muffled. On it. I'm pulling up the security feeds now. I can see the deputies at guest services. They're talking to Melissa at the desk. What are they saying? Jennifer asked. Audio's not picking it up clearly. They're showing paperwork. Melissa looks confused. She's calling her supervisor. Good. That buys us time. Jennifer's car door slammed. I'm 3 minutes out. My phone buzzed with a text. It was from my mother. We know where you are. This is for Isaac's own good. You're not well. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be. I showed it to Rebecca. She screenshotted immediately. That's evidence of coordination. They're working with law enforcement in real time. That could be witness tampering. Another text came through, this time from my dad. If you really love Isaac, you'll do what's right. He belongs with family who can properly care for him. Stop being selfish. The rage that surged through me was white hot. I typed back quickly, my fingers flying over the screen. You gave away his Disney trip. You called him overwhelming. You told me he'd be just as happy watching TV. Don't you dare talk to me about what's right for Isaac. I hit send before Rebecca could stop me. She winced. Try not to engage. Anything you say can be used against you. Too late, but I meant every word. Through Jennifer's phone, I heard a new voice. Deep, authoritative. This is Tony Rivera. I'm in position on the second floor. I have visual on your table. 2 of my team are at the staircases. No one's coming up here without going through us. I looked around and spotted him. A tall man in a dark suit standing near the entrance to the restaurant, speaking into a radio. He caught my eye and gave a subtle nod. The server came by, looking nervous. Is everything okay here? I saw security come in. Everything's fine, Rebecca said smoothly. Just a work situation being handled. Could we get some water, please? The server nodded and hurried away. Jennifer's voice came through the phone again. Gerald just pulled into the parking structure. He's heading to guest services first to intercept the deputies. Tony, are they still downstairs? Yeah, they just got transferred to the security office. They're not happy about the delay. Good. Make them wait. Gerald needs to see that paperwork before anyone moves. I watched Isaac color, his whole world contained in that simple activity. The way his hand moved carefully, trying to stay inside the lines. The way he'd occasionally lean back to assess his work, head tilted, before continuing. He had no idea that his entire life was being fought over right now. My phone rang. Unknown number. I showed it to Rebecca. Don't answer, she said. Let it go to voicemail. It rang 4 times then stopped. Immediately, a voicemail notification popped up. I played it on speaker. Volume low. A woman's voice. Professional but firm. "This is Deputy Vance with Orange County Sheriff's Office. We're attempting to locate Hannah Hayes regarding an emergency court order. If you're receiving this message, please call me back immediately at—" I don't have to call her back, right? Absolutely not, Rebecca said. "You have legal representation. Any contact goes through us." Jennifer spoke up. "Gerald just texted. He's reviewing the psychiatric hold paperwork with the deputies right now. He says it looks official, but he's verifying the judge's signature and checking the court filing system." My leg was bouncing under the table. Nervous energy I couldn't contain. "What if the paperwork looks legitimate? Then we challenge the underlying evaluation," Rebecca said. "We prove Dr. Huxley never met with you. That makes the entire hold fraudulent regardless of how official the paperwork looks." Gerald's voice suddenly came through Jennifer's phone, slightly out of breath like he'd been walking fast. "I'm here. I've got the paperwork. Judge Hendricks is real. Signature looks authentic. But there are problems." "What kind of problems?" Jennifer asked. "The evaluation date is listed as November 8th, 3 days ago. But the doctor's office is closed for renovation according to their website. Has been for 2 weeks. I'm calling the medical board right now to verify Dr. Huxley's status." I felt a small spark of hope. "That's good, right? That proves it's fake?" "It proves something's not right," Gerald said. "I'm also seeing some procedural issues. The hold was filed in Brevard County, but the subject, that's you, lives in Orange County. That's unusual. They should have filed where you reside." Rebecca leaned forward. "That's jurisdictional shopping. They probably filed in Brevard because they thought it would be harder for you to fight it." Tony's voice cut in. "Heads up. One of the deputies just got a phone call, and he looks agitated. He's arguing with someone." "Can you hear what he's saying?" Jennifer asked. "Negative. Glass partition. But body language suggests he's getting pushback from whoever's on the line." "Good," Jennifer said. "I just parked. I'm coming in through the employee entrance. I'll be at your location in 90 seconds. I watched the entrance to the restaurant. Sure enough, less than 2 minutes later, Jennifer appeared. She was still in casual clothes, jeans, and a Disney sweatshirt, but her face was all business. She walked straight to our table. "How are you holding up?" she asked, putting a hand on my shoulder. "Terrified," I admitted. "But, okay." She pulled out a chair and sat down. "Okay, here's what's happening. Gerald is downstairs making those deputies' lives very difficult in the nicest possible way. He's questioning every single line of that paperwork. He's making calls to verify signatures, checking court records, contacting the issuing judge's office, all of which is completely within his rights as your legal counsel." "But they have a court order," I said. "Can't they just ignore him and come up here?" "Not on Disney property, they can't." Jennifer's smile was sharp. "We have an agreement with Orange County Sheriff's Office. Any law enforcement action taken on our grounds requires coordination with our security team. It's liability protection for both sides. If they try to bypass that, they're violating protocol and anything they do can be challenged." Rebecca was taking notes on her phone. "How long can you delay them?" "Legally? As long as it takes to verify the legitimacy of their order. Could be 20 minutes. Could be 2 hours." Jennifer looked at me. "In the meantime, we're building your defense. Do you have a regular doctor?" "Yeah, Dr. Peters. I see her at the clinic on Colonial Drive. Call her. Right now. Get her on record saying you've never been evaluated for any psychiatric issues." "It's almost 8:30, I protested. "She won't be in her office. She'll have an emergency number. Call it." I pulled up my medical provider's information and dialed the after-hours line. It rang 6 times before someone answered. "Central Florida Medical. This is the answering service. How can I help you?" "I need to speak with Dr. Peters. It's an emergency." "What's the nature of the emergency?" "I'm being accused of having a psychiatric condition I don't have, and the police are trying to take me into custody based on false documentation. I need my doctor to confirm I've never been evaluated for mental health issues." There was a pause. "Ma'am, I need to transfer you to our emergency mental health line." "No, I don't need mental health services. I need my primary care physician to verify my medical records." Rebecca grabbed the phone from me. "This is Rebecca Walsh, attorney at law. I'm calling on behalf of my client regarding fraudulent medical documentation being used in a court proceeding. We need verification of her medical history immediately. Transfer this call to Dr. Peters or whoever is on call for her practice right now." Her tone left no room for argument. The operator hesitated, then said, "1 moment, please." We were put on hold. Elevator music played. Isaac looked up again, frowning. "Why is everyone here? Are we in trouble?" "No, buddy, we're not in trouble." I reached over and squeezed his hand. "Some grown-ups are just working out some confusing stuff. But we're safe. I promise." "Okay." He went back to coloring, but I could tell he was getting anxious. His leg was starting to bounce the way mine had been, a habit he'd picked up from me. The hold music cut off. A man's voice came on. "This is Dr. Morrison. I'm covering for Dr. Peters tonight. I understand there's an urgent need for medical records verification." Rebecca put the phone on speaker. "Yes, doctor. My client, Hannah Hayes, date of birth March 15th, 1998, is being accused of having an acute psychiatric condition requiring emergency involuntary commitment. We need you to confirm whether she has any history of mental health diagnoses or evaluations in her medical file." Let me pull her chart. Keyboard clicking sounds. "Okay, I'm looking at Hannah Hayes' records now." Last visit was in September for a routine physical. Before that, June for a sinus infection. I'm not seeing any psychiatric diagnoses, mental health referrals, or psychological evaluations in her file at all. Can you confirm she's never been evaluated by a Dr. Raymond Huxley? Rebecca asked. More clicking. No, there's no record of any Dr. Huxley in her file. She's only ever been seen by Dr. Peters and myself. Would you be willing to provide written confirmation of this? Absolutely. Given what you're describing, I'd be happy to. This sounds like medical fraud, which I'm required to report anyway. Give me a fax number or email and I'll send official documentation within the hour. Rebecca gave him her email address. Thank you, doctor. This could prevent a significant miscarriage of justice. After she hung up, Jennifer smiled. That's good. That's very good. Now we have a medical professional contradicting the psychiatric hold on record. Tony's voice crackled over Jennifer's phone, which was still connected. Situation update. The deputies are getting frustrated. One of them just told Gerald they're going to proceed with or without his cooperation. Gerald's voice came through, calm but firm. I just informed them that if they attempt to remove a Disney employee from Disney property without allowing us to verify the legitimacy of their order, we'll file a formal complaint with the sheriff's office and pursue civil litigation for violation of our mutual aid agreement. Can he do that? I whispered to Jennifer. He just did, she said with a grin. Gerald doesn't bluff. The deputy just stepped away to make a phone call, Tony reported. He looks pissed. Probably calling his supervisor, Gerald said. Which is exactly what I want. The more people who review this paperwork, the more likely someone will catch the irregularities. My phone buzzed again. Another text from my mother. Please answer your phone. We just want to talk. We can work this out as a family. I showed it to Rebecca without saying anything. She screenshot it and added it to her evidence folder. They're going to keep trying to make contact, she said. Every message helps our case. It shows they're coordinating this action, which contradicts their claim that they're concerned about your mental health. If they really thought you were dangerous, they wouldn't be texting you. That's actually a good point, Jennifer said. Document everything. Every call, every text, every voicemail. Isaac finished coloring and held up his picture proudly. Look, I made Mickey and Minnie at the castle. It's beautiful, buddy. I took the picture and studied it, trying to focus on something pure and simple while my world was falling apart around me. You even got the flowers in front right. Can we go to the Magic Kingdom tomorrow? He asked. We'll see. We might need to take care of some other stuff first. His face fell. But you promised. The guilt hit me like a punch to the chest. I know I did. And we will. I promise. We might just have to wait a day or two. Jennifer's phone crackled again. Okay, this is interesting, Gerald said. I just got a call back from Judge Hendricks' clerk. The judge is in a conference in Tampa all week. She didn't sign any psychiatric holds on November 8th because she wasn't even in her office. The relief was so intense I thought I might cry. So it's fake. The whole thing is fake. The signature is forged, Gerald confirmed. I'm looking at the clerk's copy of the judge's signature and it's not a match. Close, but not exact. Someone tried to forge it. That's a felony, Rebecca said, her eyes bright. Multiple felonies, actually. Forging a judge's signature, filing false court documents, false imprisonment, possibly kidnapping if they'd succeeded in taking her into custody. Tony spoke up. The deputy just came back from his phone call. He and his partner are having a heated discussion with Gerald. Jennifer stood up. I'm going down there. Stay here with Tony. Don't move. She left quickly. Through the phone, we could hear her arriving at the security office. Gentlemen, this is Jennifer Oakes. I'm the guest services director and this employee's direct supervisor. I understand there's a problem with your court order. Ma'am, with all due respect, we have a valid order signed by a judge. We need to execute it. Gerald spoke up. Deputy, I've just confirmed with Judge Hendricks' office that she did not sign this order. The signature is forged, which means you don't have a valid order. What you have is a fraudulent document. Silence. Then one of the deputies said, we need to verify that with our supervisor. Please do, Jennifer said pleasantly. We'll wait. More silence. The sound of a phone dialing, a muffled conversation. Then a new voice, older, authoritative. This is Sergeant Morrison with Orange County Sheriff's Office. Who am I speaking with? Gerald Chambers, legal counsel for Miss Hayes and for Disney Corporation. Mr. Chambers, my deputies inform me you're claiming the court order they have is fraudulent. Not claiming. Confirming. I verified with Judge Hendricks' clerk that the judge did not sign this order and was not in her office on the date listed. I've also confirmed with Miss Hayes' physician that the psychiatric evaluation listed in the order never took place. The doctor who allegedly performed it was out of state at the time. A long pause. Can you send me proof of that? I'm emailing it to you right now, along with a formal complaint regarding the individuals who filed this fraudulent order. Who filed it? According to the paperwork, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Hayes, Miss Hannah Hayes' parents. Another pause. Okay, pull my deputies back. This needs to be investigated before any action is taken. My apologies for the confusion. Gerald's voice was professionally cool. I appreciate your cooperation, Sergeant. I trust this incident will be thoroughly reviewed. It will be. Sergeant Morrison out. Through the phone, we heard one of the deputies swear quietly. Then Jennifer's voice, sweet as honey. Gentlemen, I'll escort you to the exit. Have a good evening. Footsteps, doors opening and closing. Then Jennifer came back on the line. They're gone. You're clear. I slumped back in my chair, all the tension draining out of me at once. It's over? For tonight? Rebecca said. But this is far from over. Your parents just committed multiple felonies, and they're going to face consequences. Good, I said. I meant it. Jennifer returned to the restaurant 5 minutes later with Gerald and Tony in tow. Gerald was a thin man with wire-rimmed glasses, probably in his 50s, with a briefcase that looked older than I was. Tony was younger, built like he could handle himself in a fight, with sharp eyes that took in everything. They sat down at our table, which was getting crowded. The server had given up on trying to serve us dessert. Okay, Gerald said, opening his briefcase and pulling out a legal pad. Let's talk about what happens next. First, you need to file for emergency custody of Isaac. Tonight, if possible. Your parents have shown they're willing to use illegal means to take him. We need legal protection in place immediately. How do I do that? I asked. I'll file the paperwork electronically within the hour. We can have a hearing as early as tomorrow morning if we can get a judge. Rebecca nodded. I'll coordinate with you. I'm also filing a police report against Mr. and Mrs. Hayes for the forged documents and against Dr. Huxley for medical fraud. Who's Dr. Huxley? Gerald asked. The psychiatrist who allegedly evaluated Hannah but was actually in Maine when the evaluation supposedly took place, Rebecca explained. Gerald made a note. That's good. Very good. Multiple criminal complaints make it harder for them to argue this was a misunderstanding. What about the inheritance? I asked. Can they still try to get custody through legal means? They can try, Rebecca said. But after tonight, their credibility is destroyed. No judge is going to grant them custody after they tried to have you committed using forged documents. Don't underestimate desperation, Gerald warned. People do stupid things when money's involved. We need to assume they'll try again. So what do? You lawyer up. You document everything. You don't talk to them, don't answer their calls, don't engage in any way. Everything goes through us. I looked at Isaac, who had fallen asleep at the table, his head resting on his folded arms, Mickey Mouse ears still perched on his head. He looked so peaceful, so innocent. I'll do whatever it takes, I said quietly. They're not taking him from me. Good, Gerald said, because this is going to get worse before it gets better. I dialed Jennifer's direct line. She answered immediately. I just heard. Security flagged it in our system. Your parents filed a 72-hour psychiatric hold. Where are you? Beast's Castle Restaurant. 2nd floor. Stay there. Don't move. I'm getting our head of security and legal team. 5 minutes. My phone started buzzing. Mom. I declined it. Then Dad. Declined. Then a number I didn't recognize. Probably the police. Isaac looked up from his coloring. You okay, sis? You look weird. I'm fine, buddy. Just some work stuff. Keep coloring. The lawyer leaned forward. I shouldn't be telling you this, but your parents met with a psychiatric evaluator 3 days ago. Dr. Raymond Huxley. He signed off on the emergency hold without ever meeting you. That's illegal. I know. I've already filed a complaint with the state medical board, but that won't help you tonight. They're going to take you to Mercy Hospital for evaluation. Once you're admitted, your parents become Isaac's temporary guardians. Jennifer appeared at our table with 3 other people. A man in a suit, a woman with a tablet, and a security guard. This is Gerald from legal, Maria from HR, and you know Tony from security. They sat down quickly. Jennifer spoke fast. Here's what's happening. 2 Orange County deputies are downstairs with a psychiatric hold order. They're asking guest services to locate you. We told them we need to verify the order first because you're an employee and there are protocols. That bought us 10 minutes. Gerald opened his laptop. I pulled your employment file. Exemplary record. 0 behavioral issues. You passed a background check 6 months ago that included a psychological screening. We have documentation that you're mentally sound. More importantly, Florida law requires the examining physician to personally evaluate the subject before signing a hold. If this Dr. Huxley never met you, the order is fraudulent. Can we prove that? I already called his office. Gerald turned his laptop to show me. He was on vacation in Maine 3 days ago. Posted pictures on Facebook. There's no way he evaluated you. He committed fraud. My hands were shaking. So what do we do? Jennifer put her hand on my shoulder. We're not letting them take you. You're our employee, and this is our property. We have jurisdiction here until we verify the hold is legitimate. Plus, Isaac is a guest. We have a duty to protect him too. Tony spoke up. I've got officers stationed at every exit from this restaurant. If those deputies try to come up here, they'll have to go through Disney security first. We'll require them to present valid paperwork, which will take time, Gerald added. Time we're using to file an emergency motion to dismiss the hold. I'm on the phone with a judge right now. He held up his cell phone. Judge Martinez is a regular at the park. Brings his grandkids every month. He's not happy about fraudulent psychiatric holds being filed in his jurisdiction. Isaac tugged my sleeve. Sis, why are all these people here? Is something wrong? I knelt down next to him. Remember how I told you I work here as Buzz Lightyear? Well, these are my friends from work. They're helping us with something. Are we in trouble? No, buddy. We're not in trouble. But some people are trying to cause problems, and my friends are making sure we're safe. He thought about this. Like when Buzz protects people from Emperor Zurg? Exactly like that. He smiled and went back to coloring. Jennifer's phone rang. She stepped away, talked for 30 seconds, then came back. The deputies are getting agitated. They're demanding we produce you immediately. Gerald's fingers flew across his keyboard. Judge Martinez just granted an emergency stay. The hold is suspended pending a hearing tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. He's requiring your parents and Dr. Huxley to appear. Tony, can you go down and inform the deputies? Tony nodded and left. I felt like I could breathe again. What happens now? Now, Gerald said, we go on the offensive. I'm filing criminal complaints against your parents for filing a false police report and against Dr. Huxley for medical fraud. I'm also filing an emergency petition for you to get temporary custody of Isaac. The lawyer who'd started all this spoke up. I'm Rebecca Walsh. I was your grandfather's attorney. He knew your parents were problematic. That's why he included specific language in the will about the inheritance only going to grandchildren living with stable family. He meant living with you, not your parents. But they don't have custody, I said. Not yet. Rebecca pulled out more papers, but they filed for it yesterday. Emergency guardianship hearing scheduled for Monday. They're claiming you're unfit and Isaac needs proper care. If they get guardianship, they control his share of the inheritance. $2 million. How did I not know about this? Because they filed in family court using their address. You weren't notified because you don't legally live there. It's procedurally questionable, but it worked. My phone buzzed again. A text from Mom. We know where you are. You can't hide. Isaac belongs with family who can properly care for him. I showed it to Gerald. He screenshot it. That's going in our filing. Evidence of harassment. Tony came back. Deputies are gone. They're not happy, but the judge's order is clear. They can't touch you until tomorrow's hearing. But, what? They said your parents are waiting outside the park gates. They can't come in, Tony said. But they're out there, with Savannah and your aunt. I looked at Isaac. He was still coloring, completely oblivious. We can't leave. Rebecca checked her watch. You don't have to. Your VIP package includes accommodations at Grand Floridian through tomorrow night. Stay here. Let them wait. Gerald stood up. I need to prep for tomorrow's hearing. I'll need a statement from you about your relationship with Isaac, your employment history, and anything that proves you're his primary caregiver. I've been taking care of him since he was 12. Our parents work constantly. I'm the one who takes him to physical therapy, helps with homework, everything. Document it, photos, receipts, medical records, school records, anything that shows you're his actual guardian. Jennifer stood too. Take the rest of your dinner in peace. Security will escort you to your room when you're ready. And tomorrow, we'll make sure you get to that courthouse safely. After they left, I sat with Isaac while he finished coloring. He held up his picture. Look, I made Buzz fighting Zurg. It's perfect, buddy. He studied my face. You're scared? A little. But you remember what Buzz always says? He grinned. To infinity and beyond. That's right. We're going to be fine. We finished dinner. Security escorted us to our suite. Isaac fell asleep within minutes, exhausted from the day. I sat on the balcony, looking out at the Magic Kingdom, lit up against the night sky. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Mom, Dad, Aunt Linda, Savannah. Numbers I didn't recognize. I turned it off. Rebecca had given me her card. I called from the room phone. She answered immediately. I need to know everything. About the inheritance? About what they're planning? She sighed. Your grandfather, Edward, was a smart man. He made his money in real estate. When he wrote his will 5 years ago, he specifically structured it to protect his grandchildren. You and Isaac each get $1 million. But there were conditions. The money goes into a trust until you're 25. You're 27, so yours is already accessible. Isaac's is locked until he's 25 unless he's deemed incapable of managing it himself. Then it goes to his legal guardian. My parents want guardianship so they can control his money. Exactly. And there's more. If anything happens to Isaac before he's 25, his share goes to the surviving grandchildren, meaning me. Which means if they have guardianship and something happens to Isaac, they control the trust but you inherit. They'd have to justify any expenditures. But if they're his guardians, they can claim those expenditures are for his care. Medical expenses, living costs, specialized equipment. Hard to dispute. What about Savannah? She's not a grandchild. Edward's grandchildren only. Your grandfather never liked your aunt, thought she was a gold digger. That's why she's not in the will at all. So my parents are doing this for money. Rebecca was quiet for a moment. I think it started that way. But I also think they've convinced themselves they're doing what's best, that you can't handle Isaac's needs, that they're his real family. They're wrong. I know. We'll prove it tomorrow. Get some rest. I'm filing motions all night. I hung up and sat in the dark. Through the wall, I could hear Isaac snoring softly. He trusted me completely. Had no idea people were fighting over him like he was property. My phone, still off, sat on the table. I knew what was waiting when I turned it back on. Threats, guilt trips, manipulation. The next morning, Isaac woke up bouncing. Can we go to Magic Kingdom again? We have to go somewhere first. Court stuff, he frowned. That sounds boring. It will be. But after, we can come back to the park. Deal? Deal. Jennifer had arranged for a car to take us to the courthouse. Security followed in a second vehicle. The whole way, Isaac played games on my phone, oblivious. The courthouse was downtown Orlando. As we pulled up, I saw them. Mom, Dad, Aunt Linda, and Savannah. They were standing with a man in an expensive suit, their lawyer. Mom's face when she saw us was a mix of relief and rage. She started toward the car, but security stepped between us. Ma'am, please step back. I need to talk to my daughter. You can talk in the courtroom, the security guard said. Gerald appeared from another car. He had a briefcase and looked like he'd been up all night. Ready? As I'll ever be. Inside, we went through security. Isaac held my hand tight. He didn't like loud noises or crowds. The metal detector beeped, and he started to panic. It's okay, buddy. It's just checking to make sure we're safe, like at the airport. He calmed down, but his hand was sweaty in mine. We were directed to a courtroom on the 3rd floor. My parents and their lawyer were already seated on one side. We took the other. Judge Martinez was exactly what I pictured. Older, gray hair, reading glasses. He looked annoyed. He called the room to order. I'm going to make this simple. I don't like my time being wasted, and I don't like fraudulent court filings. Dr. Huxley, are you present? A man in the back stood up nervously. He was younger than I expected. Maybe 40. Yes, Your Honor. You signed an emergency psychiatric hold for Miss Hayes 3 days ago, correct? Yes, Your Honor. And you evaluated her in person before signing? He hesitated. I was provided information by her parents. That's not what I asked. Did you personally evaluate Miss Hayes? No, Your Honor. Judge Martinez took off his glasses. Then you committed medical fraud and perjury. Bailiff, take Dr. Huxley into custody. The courtroom erupted. Mom stood up. Your Honor. He was trying to help. The judge banged his gavel. Sit down, Mrs. Hayes. Doctor. Huxley was escorted out in handcuffs. He was crying. Judge Martinez turned to my parents' lawyer. Counselor, I assume you had no knowledge your clients provided fraudulent documentation? The lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. No, Your Honor. I was told the evaluation was legitimate. Then I suggest you reconsider your representation of these clients. Now, let's address the emergency guardianship petition. Gerald stood. Your Honor, we're requesting that petition be dismissed with prejudice. My client has been Isaac Hayes' primary caregiver for 6 years. We have extensive documentation. The judge looked at my parents. Mr. and Mrs. Hayes, is it true your daughter has been Isaac's primary caregiver? Dad spoke up. She helps, but we're his parents. Help? I stood up before Gerald could stop me. Your Honor, I take Isaac to every doctor's appointment, every physical therapy session. I help him with homework. I make his meals. I know his medication schedule, his triggers, his needs. When was the last time either of you took him to therapy? Mom's face flushed. We work. We provide for him financially. Judge Martinez looked at Isaac, who was sitting quietly, playing with a small Buzz Lightyear figure I'd given him. Young man, do you know why you're here? Isaac looked up. Some people are mad at my sister. Why do you think they're mad? Because she took me to Disney instead of Savannah. And who do you want to live with? My sister. She takes care of me. My parents' lawyer whispered frantically to them. Judge Martinez made a note. I'm dismissing the guardianship petition. Furthermore, I'm granting temporary emergency custody to Miss Hayes pending a full hearing in 30 days. If you want guardianship, Mr. and Mrs. Hayes, you'll need to prove you're better suited than your daughter. Hearing set for December 15th. We filed out of the courtroom. Mom tried to approach me. Sweetheart, please, we can talk about this. No, you tried to have me committed. You lied to doctors and police. You don't get to call me sweetheart. But Isaac needs family. I am his family. More than you've ever been. Security escorted us out. My parents stood in the hallway, looking lost. For a moment, I almost felt bad. Then I remembered them giving away Isaac's Disney trip, calling him overwhelming, treating his happiness like it didn't matter. Gerald drove us back to the park. You did good in there. What happens now? Now we wait for the December hearing. But in the meantime, you have legal custody. They can't take him. And the inheritance? Rebecca's filing paperwork to ensure they can't access Isaac's trust. It'll be locked down by end of day. Isaac tugged my sleeve. Can we go to Space Mountain now? Yeah, buddy. We can go to Space Mountain. We left the courthouse through the side exit. Security still surrounding us. The Florida sun was harsh after the dim courtroom, making me squint. Isaac was quiet, processing what he'd witnessed. Tony loaded us into the car. Jennifer had texted asking if we wanted to come back to the park, but I was exhausted. All I wanted was to go back to the suite and collapse. But Rebecca had other ideas. She climbed into the car with us. We need to deal with the credit card situation immediately, she said. Every day we wait is another day of interest accruing on debt that isn't Isaac's responsibility. How do we even start? I asked. First, we file police reports for identity theft. Then we contact each credit card company with copies of the police reports and proof that Isaac is a minor who couldn't have legally opened the accounts. They'll investigate and reverse the charges, but it takes time. How much time? Months, probably. Maybe longer. In the meantime, Isaac's credit is destroyed. When he turns 18, he'll have a 450 credit score and $60,000 in defaulted debt on his record, unless we fix this. The weight of it hit me. My parents hadn't just stolen money. They'd stolen Isaac's future, his ability to get an apartment, a car loan, anything that required credit. They'd sabotaged him before he even had a chance. Let's do it, I said. Whatever it takes. Rebecca pulled out her phone and started making calls while Tony drove us to the Orange County Sheriff's Office downtown. We spent the next 3 hours there, filling out forms, giving statements, providing documentation. The detective assigned to the case was a woman named Carla Voss. She was maybe 40, with tired eyes and a no-nonsense attitude that reminded me of Judge Martinez. She reviewed the credit card statements I'd printed out, her expression getting progressively more disgusted. "Your parents opened these accounts when Isaac was 15, she said. 3 years ago. They've been using them this whole time, racking up charges." I looked at the statements: cash advances, casino ATMs, online gambling sites, luxury purchases, a $3,000 charge at a jewelry store, a $5,000 charge at Best Buy, thousands of dollars at restaurants I recognized as expensive steakhouses and resort hotels. They were living it up, Detective Voss said bluntly, while claiming they couldn't afford to take Isaac to Disney. The rage I felt was white hot. All those times they'd guilt-tripped me about how expensive Isaac's care was, how they were struggling to make ends meet, how I should be helping more. They were spending thousands on themselves while I ate ramen and worked double shifts to save for a trip that actually mattered to him. "Can we prosecute?" Rebecca asked. "Absolutely. This is textbook identity theft and fraud. Multiple counts. I'll forward this to the state attorney's office. Given the amount involved and the fact that the victim is disabled, they'll probably pursue it aggressively." "Good," I said. "I want them to face consequences." Detective Voss looked at me with something like sympathy. "I get it, but I have to warn you. This is going to get ugly. They're your parents. When they're arrested, when they go to trial, it's going to be public. People are going to have opinions. Let them. Isaac deserves justice." After we finished at the sheriff's office, Rebecca drove me back to the hotel in her car. Isaac had fallen asleep in the back seat, exhausted from the stress. "What happens next?" I asked quietly. "Now we wait for the investigation to complete. In the meantime, you need to focus on getting stable. The December 15th hearing is going to be the real battle. Your parents aren't going to give up, especially now that they know about the second will. What can they possibly argue at this point? That you're manipulating Isaac for the inheritance money yourself, that you coached him to lie to the judge, that you're too young and inexperienced to be his guardian. They'll throw everything they can think of and hope something sticks." I felt sick, but I am too young. I'm 27. I have no idea what I'm doing. Rebecca pulled into the hotel parking lot and turned to face me. "You've been caring for Isaac for 6 years. You've been doing the work without the title. Now you're getting the title to match the work. That's all guardianship is, the legal recognition of what you've already been doing. But what if I mess up? What if I can't give him everything he needs? Then you'll figure it out, like you've been doing all along." She smiled. "You're not alone in this. You have lawyers. You have support. You have Disney, apparently. You'll be fine." I carried Isaac up to the suite. He woke up long enough to brush his teeth and change into pajamas, then crashed in his bed. I sat on the edge, watching him sleep, my mind racing. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. "Please, we need to talk. You're making a huge mistake. We can fix this as a family." I stared at it for a long moment, then I blocked the number. Another text came through, from a number I didn't recognize. "This isn't over. You're going to regret this." I screenshot it and sent it to Rebecca. She replied immediately. "Forward all threats to me, documenting everything." I turned off my phone and tried to sleep. "Tomorrow," Rebecca had said, "we needed to start building the case for the December hearing. Character witnesses, financial records, proof that I could provide a stable home for Isaac." The next morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls, all from numbers I didn't recognize. I called Rebecca. "They're using other people's phones to contact you," she said. "Friends, relatives, burner phones probably. Don't answer any unknown numbers. If it's important, they'll leave a voicemail and we can screen it." "What about the threats?" "I've already forwarded them to Detective Voss. She's adding them to the case file. Your parents are digging themselves deeper." I spent the next week in a blur of meetings. Lawyers, financial advisors, social workers. Everyone wanted statements, documents, proof of this or that. Patricia Gomez, the guardianship specialist, laid it out bluntly. "The state wants to make sure Isaac will be cared for. That means stable housing, stable income, and proof that you understand his medical and therapeutic needs. We need to document everything." So I documented. I pulled up 6 years of medical appointments, therapy sessions, school meetings. Every single time I'd been the one there. Every decision I'd made for Isaac's care. It was hundreds of pages. The financial part was harder. I made decent money at Disney now, but it wasn't a fortune. Patricia helped me create a budget showing how Isaac's disability benefits would cover his specialized needs while my income covered our basic living expenses. Housing was settled. I had the 2-year lease. The apartment wasn't fancy, but it was clean, safe, and near Isaac's school. Then came the character witnesses. Isaac's homeroom teacher, Mrs. Brennan, agreed to testify immediately. "That boy adores you," she said when I called to ask, "and you've been nothing but devoted to him." I'll tell them exactly that. His physical therapist, Marcus Chen, was equally supportive. "You're at every session, Hannah. You practice the exercises with him at home. You follow through on everything I recommend. Most parents don't do half of what you do." Even my old manager from Target, Sharon, offered to testify. "You worked doubles to save for that Disney trip. I remember you eating vending machine food to save money. You're dedicated." But my parents weren't idle either. A week after the first hearing, I got a call from Isaac's school. Mrs. Brennan sounded stressed. "Hannah, I need to tell you something. Your mother came by the school today trying to pick up Isaac." I felt my heart stop. "What happened?" I refused to release him, obviously. She didn't have permission and the judge's order is posted in our system. But she caused a scene in the office. Said you were keeping Isaac from his family. Said she was going to call CPS to report you for parental alienation. Can she do that? She can call CPS. Whether they'll take it seriously after reviewing the court order is another matter. But I wanted you to know. I called Rebecca immediately. She sighed. I'll file a motion to hold them in contempt for violating the no-contact order. This is the second violation. What happens if they keep doing this? Eventually, jail time. But judges usually give warnings first. Unfortunately, that afternoon, while I was at work, my apartment building's manager called. Miss Hayes? This is Gary from the leasing office. I had a couple come by today claiming to be your parents. They said there was an emergency and they needed to access your apartment. You didn't let them in, did you? Of course not. I asked for ID and noticed their names matched the ones you'd flagged in our system as prohibited. I told them to leave or I'd call the police. Thank you. Thank you so much. They weren't happy about it. The woman started crying, saying she just wanted to see where her son was living. I felt bad, but rules are rules. You did the right thing. Please call me if they come back. I was shaking when I hung up. They were escalating, getting desperate. That night, Isaac had nightmares. He woke up crying, calling for me. I held him while he sobbed. I dreamed Mom and Dad took me away and you couldn't find me, he said through his tears. That's not going to happen, buddy, I promise. You're safe with me. But what if they come to school? What if they take me? They can't. The school knows they're not allowed to take you, and I'm always going to be there to pick you up, every day. I stayed in his room until he fell back asleep, then sat in the living room with the lights off, staring at my phone. Rebecca had said this would get ugly. She was right. Over the next 2 weeks, the harassment intensified. Unknown numbers calling at all hours, texts from burner phones. Someone, almost certainly my parents, hired a private investigator who started following me to work. I documented everything, took photos of the man following me, screenshot every threatening text, recorded the voicemails that ranged from pleading to furious. Then my parents violated the restraining order again. They showed up at Isaac's physical therapy session. Marcus Chen called me at work. Hannah, your parents are here. They're demanding to see Isaac. I told them they can't, but they're not leaving. Call the police. Right now. Already did. They're on the way. I left work immediately, Jennifer understanding without me having to explain. By the time I got to the therapy center, there were 2 police cars outside. My parents were in handcuffs being led out. Mom was crying. Dad was shouting, "This is my son! You can't keep me from my son. He doesn't belong with her." The officers loaded them into separate cars. One of them, a young woman with a kind face, approached me. "You're Hannah Hayes?" "Yes. They'll be processed and released on bail within a few hours, probably. But we're documenting this as a second violation of the restraining order. That's gonna look bad for them in court." "Good," I said, then felt guilty for saying it, but not guilty enough to take it back. Inside, Isaac was sitting on the therapy table, crying quietly. Marcus was next to him, speaking in low, soothing tones. I ran over and hugged him tight. "I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry that happened. I don't understand," he sobbed into my shoulder. "Why are they so mad? What did I do wrong?" "You didn't do anything wrong. Nothing at all. This isn't about you. Then why do they want to take me away from you?" I didn't have a good answer for that. How do you explain to a kid that his parents care more about money than him? That they see him as a paycheck instead of a person? "They're confused right now," I said instead. "But they can't take you. The judge said you're staying with me, and that's what's happening." "Promise?" "I promise." That night, I got a call from Detective Voss. "Your parents posted bail 2 hours after arrest. We're adding the violation to the growing case against them." "Hannah, I have to tell you, this is getting serious. We're looking at multiple felony charges. Identity theft, fraud, forgery, violation of a restraining order, possibly attempted kidnapping. If they'd succeeded in taking Isaac from therapy, will they go to prison? If they're convicted on all charges? Almost certainly. We're talking years, not months." I should have felt relieved. Instead, I just felt tired. My parents were in jail for 4 hours. They posted bail using money they didn't have, money that should have been Isaac's. Rebecca confirmed it the next day. They used another credit card, this time in your Aunt Linda's name. She co-signed for them. So now Aunt Linda's on the hook for their bail? Unless they show up for all their court dates? Yes. I almost felt bad for Aunt Linda. Almost. Then I remembered her smug face at the courthouse, sitting behind my parents, fully supporting them. A week later, Rebecca called with more bad news. Your parents hired a new lawyer, someone even more expensive than Marcus Rosenthal, a guy named Trevor Calloway. He's known for aggressive family law tactics. How are they paying for this? We're still figuring that out. But Hannah, this guy doesn't mess around. He's going to come at you hard at the December hearing. What can he possibly say that will make a difference? He'll argue you're too young, too inexperienced, too financially unstable. He'll try to paint your parents as flawed but loving people who made mistakes under financial stress. He'll claim they've learned their lesson and deserve a second chance. He might even argue that Isaac's disability means he needs the stability of 2 parents, not 1 young sister. But they don't even take care of him. We know that. The judge knows that. But Calloway will try to create reasonable doubt, make it seem like maybe your parents weren't as bad as the evidence suggests. I felt sick. How do we fight that? with the truth, with witnesses, with documentation. We bury them in evidence that you've been Isaac's real caregiver all along. The next few weeks were a nightmare of preparation. Patricia and Rebecca coached me on testimony, what to say, how to say it, what questions to expect. We did practice sessions where Rebecca played Trevor Calloway, asking aggressive questions designed to rattle me. Isn't it true, Miss Hayes, that you've struggled to maintain steady employment? I've worked steadily for years, but you recently changed jobs. Doesn't that suggest instability? I was promoted. I left retail to work full-time at Disney with better pay and benefits. That's the opposite of instability. Yet you still rent. You don't own a home. Doesn't Isaac deserve the stability of home ownership? I have a 2-year lease. That's stable. And most people my age rent. Homeownership isn't a requirement for being a good guardian. Over and over, we practiced until I could answer without getting defensive or angry. Meanwhile, the credit card investigation was progressing. Detective Voss called with updates every few days. We've traced charges back 3 years. Your parents didn't just use the cards for themselves. They were giving cash to friends, buying gifts for extended family, even paying for Savannah's college tuition with Isaac's stolen credit. Can we get that money back? We can try, but a lot of it's already spent. The jewelry's been pawned. The electronics are used and worth half what they paid. The cash is just gone. What about Savannah's tuition? That's trickier. Technically, the money went to the college, not to Savannah. We'd have to prove your parents intended to commit fraud when they paid it, and they'll argue they thought they were helping family with money they believed they'd be able to pay back, but they used Isaac's credit card. I know, and we're building the case. But these things take time. It turned out my parents had also taken out personal loans, using Isaac's information as collateral, forging his signature as a co-signer even though he was a minor. The banks were furious when Rebecca contacted them with proof of the fraud. Not at us, at my parents, and at themselves for not catching it sooner. We'll reverse the loans immediately, one bank manager told Rebecca, and we'll be pursuing criminal charges ourselves. This is a massive failure in our verification system. More charges piled up, each one another nail in my parents' legal coffin. But they kept fighting. Trevor Calloway filed motion after motion, requesting delays, demanding evaluations, challenging evidence. He's trying to wear you down, Patricia explained. Make you give up or make a mistake. I'm not giving up. Good. Because this is where it gets hard. It got hard. Trevor Calloway subpoenaed my financial records, my employment history, my medical records, everything. He's looking for anything he can use, Rebecca warned. Any gap in employment, any bounce check, any doctor's visit that might suggest you're not capable of caring for Isaac. There's nothing to find, I said. I've been working steadily since I was 16. I pay my bills on time. I'm healthy. Then we have nothing to worry about. But the invasion of privacy felt violating. Every detail of my life laid bare for a lawyer to pick apart and use against me. Then Calloway went after my character witnesses. He sent a private investigator to interview Mrs. Brennan, Marcus Chen, even Sharon from Target, asking leading questions, trying to get them to say something that could be twisted. Mrs. Brennan called me, upset. This man came to my house, Hannah, asked if I'd ever seen you lose your temper with Isaac, if I'd ever had concerns about Isaac's safety in your care. I told him absolutely not, but it was unsettling. I'm so sorry. You don't have to talk to him. I know. I told him to leave, but I wanted you to know he's out there trying to dig up dirt. Rebecca filed a motion to restrict the private investigator's activities, claiming harassment of witnesses. The judge granted it with a warning to Calloway about ethical boundaries, but the damage was done. My witnesses were rattled, worried about what they might be asked on the stand. 2 weeks before the December hearing, my parents tried one more illegal move. They filed an emergency motion, claiming I'd denied them access to Isaac's medical records, which they had a right to as parents. You're not his guardian, Rebecca pointed out in the response brief. The courts granted temporary custody to Hannah. You have no right to his medical records. The judge agreed and denied the motion. But it took time and energy and money I didn't have. My savings were depleted. Legal fees were piling up. Rebecca and Patricia were working at reduced rates out of sympathy. But there were still costs. Court filing fees, investigation costs, expert witness fees. I picked up extra shifts at Disney. Worked every hour I could. Jennifer was understanding, adjusting my schedule around meetings with lawyers and therapists and social workers. You're going to burn out, she warned. You can't keep this pace. I have to. I can't lose Isaac. You're not going to lose him. The evidence is on your side. But I couldn't shake the fear. My parents were desperate, and desperate people do unpredictable things. 1 week before the hearing, it all came to a head. The next morning came too fast. I'd barely slept, lying awake in the Grand Floridian suite listening to Isaac's soft snoring from the other room, my mind racing through worst-case scenarios. What if the judge didn't believe me? What if my parents had more forged documents? What if I lost him? At 6 a.m., I gave up on sleep and made coffee using the in-room machine. The suite felt too big, too quiet. Through the windows, I could see the Magic Kingdom in the distance, lit up in the early morning light. Yesterday, we'd been happy there. Today, we were going to court. Rebecca had called at midnight to tell me she'd filed emergency motions. Gerald had worked until 3 a.m. preparing our defense. Jennifer had arranged for Disney security to transport us directly to the courthouse. They weren't taking any chances. Isaac woke up at 7. confused about why we were leaving the hotel so early. "Where are we going?" he asked, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "We have to go to court for a little while, buddy. Remember I told you yesterday about the grown-up stuff we needed to handle?" He frowned. "I don't want to go to court. I want to go to Magic Kingdom." "I know. Me too. But we have to do this first. Then we can come back. You promise?" "I promise." Getting him ready was harder than usual. He could sense my anxiety and it made him anxious too. He insisted on wearing his Buzz Lightyear shirt, the one we'd bought at the park. I didn't have the heart to tell him to change into something more court-appropriate. Disney security picked us up at 7:45. Tony drove personally, with another security officer in the passenger seat. A third car followed behind us. "Is this really necessary?" I asked. "After what your parents tried yesterday?" "Yeah, it's necessary," Tony said. "We're not letting them get anywhere near you before the hearing." The ride downtown took 20 minutes. I spent the whole time staring out the window, watching Orlando wake up. Coffee shops opening, people jogging, normal life continuing while mine was falling apart. The courthouse was a massive concrete building in downtown Orlando, all hard angles and reflective windows. We parked in the secure lot and were escorted inside through a side entrance, bypassing the main security line. Rebecca was waiting inside, her briefcase open on a bench, papers spread around her. She looked like she'd slept even less than I had. "Morning," she said, standing to shake my hand. "Ready?" "Not even a little bit." "That's honest." She smiled grimly. "Good news is, Gerald got us on Judge Martinez's docket. He's fair, no nonsense, and he hates people wasting his time with fraudulent filings. And the bad news? Your parents hired Marcus Rosenthal. He's expensive and he's good. How can they afford him?" Rebecca's expression darkened. "I'm guessing they found a way to access Isaac's money, or they're running up debt thinking they'll pay it off with the inheritance." We walked through the courthouse halls, our footsteps echoing off the marble floors. Isaac held my hand tight, his eyes wide as he took in all the people in suits, the serious faces, the intimidating atmosphere. "I don't like it here," he whispered. "I know, buddy, me neither, but we're together, okay? That's what matters." The courtroom was smaller than I expected, more like a conference room than the dramatic spaces I'd seen on TV. Rows of benches, a judge's desk at the front, fluorescent lights that made everything look harsh and cold. My parents were already there, sitting on the left side with a man who must have been Marcus Rosenthal. He was in his 50s, silver-haired, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my car. My parents looked exhausted, aged somehow. Mom's eyes were red from crying. Dad wouldn't look at me. Savannah was there too, sitting behind them next to Aunt Linda. She at least had the decency to look ashamed. We took seats on the right side. Isaac climbed onto the bench next to me, swinging his legs nervously. Gerald arrived moments later, looking remarkably fresh despite the all-nighter. He set his briefcase down with a thud that drew everyone's attention. "All rise," a bailiff called out. The Honorable Judge Martinez presiding. The judge entered from a side door. He was exactly as Rebecca had described. Older, with gray hair and sharp eyes behind reading glasses. He settled into his chair and surveyed the room with an expression that said he'd already had enough of everyone's nonsense. "Let's make this quick," he said, flipping open a folder. "I've reviewed the emergency filings from both sides. I've also reviewed the incident report from yesterday regarding the fraudulent psychiatric hold." He looked directly at my parents. "Mr. and Mrs. Hayes, I'm going to be blunt. You're lucky you're not in jail right now." Mom started to speak, but Marcus put a hand on her arm, stopping her. Judge Martinez continued. "Dr. Raymond Huxley is in custody, facing charges of medical fraud and perjury. The deputies involved have filed a report about the forged court order. The state attorney's office is reviewing whether to charge you as well." He paused. "So somebody better start explaining what the hell is going on here and why I shouldn't throw everyone except the kids in jail and call it a day." Marcus stood smoothly. "Your Honor, if I may, my clients are devastated by the misunderstanding yesterday. They were genuinely concerned about their daughter's mental health and were misled by Dr. Huxley about the proper procedures for obtaining help." "Misled," Judge Martinez repeated flatly. "They hired a doctor who didn't evaluate their daughter and signed a fake court order. That's not being misled. That's conspiracy to commit fraud. Your Honor, my clients are simple people who were trying to do what they thought was best for their disabled son." "Don't call Isaac disabled like it's something wrong with him," I said before I could stop myself. The judge looked at me. "Miss Hayes, you'll have a chance to speak. For now, let your attorney handle this." I bit my lip and nodded. Gerald stood. "Your Honor, we're asking that the guardianship petition be dismissed immediately and that you grant temporary emergency custody to my client. Mr. and Mrs. Hayes have demonstrated that they're willing to use illegal means to take Isaac from his sister, who has been his primary caregiver for 6 years." "Primary caregiver?" Marcus scoffed. "She's 27 years old, works retail, and lives paycheck to paycheck. My clients have a stable home, stable income, and years of parenting experience." "She works at Disney," Gerald corrected. "Full-time in guest services with benefits. She has a 2-year lease on a 2-bedroom apartment, and she's been the one taking Isaac to every medical appointment, every therapy session, every school meeting for the past 6 years while her parents were, what was the phrase, working constantly?" Marcus turned to my parents. "Is that accurate?" Dad finally spoke, his voice rough. "We had jobs. Someone had to pay the bills. And Hannah was the one actually caring for Isaac," Gerald said. "We have documentation." School records showing she's listed as the primary contact. Medical records with her signature. Therapy session notes crediting her with implementing home exercises. Judge Martinez held up a hand. Let's hear from the young man himself. Isaac, can you come up here, please? My heart seized. Isaac hated attention, hated being put on the spot, but he slid off the bench and walked forward, his Buzz Lightyear shirt slightly wrinkled from sleeping in the car. He stood in front of the judge's desk, looking small and scared. Judge Martinez's expression softened. He came down from his desk and knelt so he was at Isaac's eye level. Hey there, buddy. I'm Judge Martinez. You like Buzz Lightyear? Isaac nodded silently. Me too. My grandson loves Toy Story. You know why you're here today? Some people are mad at my sister. Why do you think they're mad at her? Isaac glanced back at me, then at our parents. Because she took me to Disney instead of Savannah. And because of the money? What money? Grandpa's money. Mom and Dad want it, but it's mine and my sister's. Judge Martinez glanced at the adults, his expression unreadable. Who takes care of you every day, Isaac? My sister. She makes breakfast, takes me to school, helps with homework, takes me to therapy, makes dinner, everything. What about your mom and dad? They're at work a lot. He said it simply, matter-of-factly. Do you want to live with your sister or with your mom and dad? My sister. She takes care of me. She keeps me safe. He looked back at me again. She promised we'd go back to Disney after this. Judge Martinez stood up. Okay, Isaac, thank you for talking to me. You can go sit back down. Isaac hurried back to the bench and grabbed my hand. The judge returned to his desk and made some notes. Then he looked up at my parents. Mr. and Mrs. Hayes, I'm going to ask you directly. When was the last time you took Isaac to physical therapy? Mom and Dad looked at each other. Dad spoke. I'm not sure. Hannah usually handles that. When was the last time you attended a parent-teacher conference for Isaac? Again, they exchanged looks. A few months ago? Mom said uncertainly. And yet you want guardianship because you believe you can provide better care than your daughter, who has been doing everything for Isaac for 6 years while you worked. The judge's tone was skeptical. Marcus jumped in. Your Honor, financial stability is a crucial factor in guardianship. Miss Hayes' income is limited. She makes enough to support herself and Isaac, Gerald countered. And Isaac's disability benefits help with his specialized needs. Plus, there's the inheritance when he turns 25. Which brings us to the real issue, Judge Martinez said. He opened another folder. I've reviewed your grandfather's will, Isaac's. It's very clear. $2 million split between the grandchildren, with Isaac's portion held in trust until he's 25, or until he's deemed unable to manage it himself, at which point it goes to his legal guardian. That's correct, Your Honor, Rebecca said, standing. And I'd like to submit a second will for the court's review. She walked forward and handed papers to the bailiff, who gave them to the judge. What second will? Marcus demanded. Judge Martinez read through the pages, his eyebrows rising. This is dated a year ago. It names Hannah Hayes as trustee of Isaac's inheritance and specifically excludes Mr. and Mrs. Hayes from any claim to the funds. That's a forgery, my mother blurted out. Dad made his will 5 years ago. This is fake. Rebecca pulled out more documents. I have the original, filed with the probate court. I also have 3 independent handwriting analyses confirming its authenticity. Judge Martinez compared the signatures. Marcus came forward to examine them too. After several long moments, the judge sat back. This appears legitimate. The signature matches. The notarization is valid. Mr. and Mrs. Hayes, did you know about your father's concerns regarding your financial management? Dad's face was flushed red. He was overreacting. I had some debts, but nothing I couldn't handle. According to this will, Rebecca said, Edward Hayes became aware of your gambling problem and was concerned you would attempt to access his grandchildren's inheritance to pay your debts. Gambling problem? Marcus turned to my dad. You told me you had occasional casino trips, not a gambling problem. It's not a problem, Dad insisted. I have it under control. Gerald opened his own briefcase and pulled out a stack of papers. Your Honor, we've subpoenaed Mr. Hayes' financial records. In the past 5 years, he's lost approximately $400,000 at casinos, online poker sites, and sports betting. The courtroom went silent. Marcus looked like he'd been punched. Mom put her face in her hands. Additionally, Gerald continued, Mr. and Mrs. Hayes have taken out credit cards in Isaac's name without his knowledge or consent. 4 cards, totaling nearly $60,000 in debt. We're filing identity theft and fraud charges this afternoon. Your Honor, this is all news to me, Marcus said quickly. If I'd known about any of this, I would never have taken this case. Judge Martinez removed his glasses and pinned my parents with a stare that could have melted steel. Let me make sure I understand. You have significant gambling debts. You've committed identity theft against your disabled son. You attempted to have your daughter committed using forged documents so you could gain custody of your son and access his inheritance. Do I have that right? Neither of my parents spoke. I'm dismissing the guardianship petition with prejudice. Judge Martinez's voice was cold. Furthermore, I'm granting temporary emergency custody to Hannah Hayes pending a full hearing in 30 days. Mr. and Mrs. Hayes, you are ordered to have no contact with Isaac or Hannah during this period. Violation of this order will result in immediate arrest. Mom started crying in earnest. Dad sat frozen, staring at the desk in front of him. Additionally, I'm ordering a financial review of all of Isaac's accounts and credit. Any unauthorized charges will be reversed and you will be held liable. As for the inheritance, it will be placed under conservatorship with Hannah Hayes as conservator until Isaac reaches 25 or is deemed unable to manage it. You will have no access to those funds. Your Honor. Marcus tried one more time. My clients are still Isaac's parents. Surely some visitation. After what they've done? The judge shook his head. No, not until the full hearing. And even then, I'd be inclined to keep it supervised at best. He banged his gavel. We're done here. Next case. The bailiff called out, "All rise." As the judge left, I felt like I could breathe for the first time in 24 hours. Isaac tugged my hand. Can we go back to Disney now? Yeah, buddy. We can go back to Disney. Behind us, I heard my mom sobbing. Heard Marcus having a heated, whispered conversation with my parents. Heard Savannah trying to comfort Aunt Linda, who was furious about something. I didn't care. I had Isaac. That was all that mattered. 1 week before the hearing, I got a call from Patricia at 6 a.m. Hannah, turn on the news. Channel 9. I fumbled for the TV remote, my heart pounding. What's going on? Just turn it on. I clicked to Channel 9. A news anchor was mid-sentence. Local couple faces federal charges after allegedly defrauding their disabled son. Richard and Gloria Hayes are accused of opening multiple credit accounts in their son's name and spending nearly $90,000 over a 3-year period. My parents' mugshots filled the screen. Mom looked haggard, her makeup smeared. Dad looked furious. The story continued, detailing the identity theft, the forged court documents, the attempted abduction. They called Isaac a disabled teen. They interviewed a legal expert who said this was one of the worst cases of financial elder abuse I've seen, except the victim is a child. Oh my God, I whispered. This changes things, Patricia said. Your parents' attorney is going to have a much harder time painting them as sympathetic victims now that this is public. But Isaac, people at school are going to see this. I know. You need to get ahead of it. Talk to his teachers, the principal. Make sure they're prepared to support Isaac if other kids say anything. I called Mrs. Brennan immediately. She'd already seen the news. We're on it, Hannah. I've already emailed the staff. Anyone who says anything inappropriate to Isaac will be dealt with immediately. And I'm planning to have a conversation with my class about kindness and not spreading gossip. Thank you. How are you holding up? I don't know. This is all so public now. Better that it's public, she said firmly. Now everyone knows what they did. There's no hiding it. At work that day, my coworkers were weird around me. Some were overly sympathetic, treating me like I was fragile. Others avoided me entirely, uncomfortable with the drama. Jennifer pulled me aside during my break. I saw the news, she said quietly. How are you really doing? I'm terrified. What if this makes things worse? What if people think I'm exploiting this for attention? You didn't call the news. They picked up the story from public court records. This isn't your fault. But my parents' lives are ruined. Their faces are all over TV. They ruined their own lives, Hannah. You didn't make them commit fraud. You didn't make them forge documents. They made those choices. I nodded, but I still felt sick about it. That night, my phone exploded. Texts from people I hadn't talked to in years. Some supportive, some nosy, some outright cruel. I always knew your family was messed up. Your poor parents, they just made mistakes. You're really going to send your own mom and dad to prison? I blocked the worst ones and ignored the rest. Isaac asked about it at dinner. Some kid at school said mom and dad are criminals. Are they? I took a deep breath. Mom and dad did some things that were wrong. They broke the law. So yes, technically, they're criminals. But that doesn't mean they're bad people. They just made really bad choices. Because of money? Because of money. He thought about this while eating his chicken nuggets. I like living with you better anyway. Yeah? Yeah. You don't yell as much. And you make better dinners. I had to laugh at that. Thanks, buddy. The weekend before the hearing, Rebecca called with news. Your parents filed for bankruptcy. Chapter 7. They're trying to discharge the debt. Can they do that? They can try. But bankruptcy doesn't discharge fraud debt. The credit card companies and banks can object, and they almost certainly will. What about the house? They'll lose it. The banks already started foreclosure proceedings. The second mortgage they took out had a clause that defaults the loan if they file bankruptcy, so they're going to be homeless. Probably, unless family takes them in. On Sunday, I found out that family had taken them in. Savannah posted about it on Instagram. A photo of her mom hugging my mother, both crying. The caption read, "Family helps family, no matter what. Praying for healing and forgiveness." I showed it to Isaac. He shrugged. Savannah's weird. The December 15th hearing arrived. I'd barely slept the night before, running through potential questions and answers in my head. Isaac was anxious too, picking at his breakfast and asking repeatedly if he had to go to court again. You don't have to testify this time, I assured him. You can stay in the waiting room with Jennifer. Jennifer had volunteered to keep Isaac occupied during the hearing. She brought coloring books, iPad games, snacks, anything to keep him distracted. The courtroom was more crowded this time. Reporters sat in the back row, notebooks ready. Extended family filled the benches, some supporting me, others supporting my parents. My parents looked terrible. Dad had lost weight. Mom's hair was grayer than I remembered. They sat with Trevor Calloway, who was impeccably dressed in a suit that probably cost more than my car. Judge Martinez entered, and we all rose. The hearing lasted 6 hours. Calloway went first. painting my parents as desperate people who'd made mistakes under crushing financial pressure. Your Honor, my clients are not monsters. They're ordinary people who found themselves in an impossible situation. Mr. Hayes has a gambling addiction. Yes, but addiction is a disease. He started attending Gamblers Anonymous meetings. He's getting help. Judge Martinez looked unimpressed. When did he start these meetings? Calloway checked his notes. 2 weeks ago. So, after he was caught and charged with multiple felonies. Very convenient. Your Honor, my clients recognize they made mistakes. They're taking steps to address their issues. They love their son. They want to be part of his life. Loving someone and being able to properly care for them are two different things, the judge said. Calloway called my parents as witnesses. My mother went first. She cried on the stand, talking about how much she loved Isaac, how she'd failed him, how she wanted a chance to make it right. Mrs. Hayes, Calloway asked gently, do you understand the harm your actions caused? Yes, she sobbed. I understand, and I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt Isaac. We were drowning in debt. Richard's gambling got out of control. I thought if we could just get access to the inheritance, we could fix everything. And now? Do you still want guardianship of Isaac? I want what's best for him. If that means living with Hannah, then that's what I want. But I also want to be in his life, to see him, to be his mother. It was a good performance. Even I almost felt bad for her. Then Patricia cross-examined. Mrs. Hayes, you said you thought accessing the inheritance would fix everything. But the inheritance wasn't yours to access, was it? No, my mother admitted quietly. It belonged to Isaac, your disabled son, the one you claim to love. Yes. And yet you opened credit cards in his name without his knowledge or consent. I thought we'd pay them back. With what money? You were already drowning in debt, as you said. Where did you think the money to pay back $60,000 in fraudulent charges would come from? The inheritance, my mother whispered. So your plan was to steal from Isaac to pay back the money you'd already stolen from Isaac? Silence. And when that didn't work, you tried to have your daughter committed to a psychiatric facility using forged documents so you could take custody of Isaac and access his inheritance directly. We were desperate. Desperation doesn't excuse fraud, Mrs. Hayes. Desperation doesn't excuse identity theft. Desperation doesn't excuse forging a judge's signature. My mother was crying again, but this time it looked less sympathetic and more like the tears of someone caught in their own web of lies. My father's testimony was worse. He was defensive, angry. He blamed everyone but himself, the casinos for being predatory, the banks for giving him credit, me for not helping the family when they needed it. Your daughter was working double shifts to save for a Disney trip for her brother, Patricia pointed out. While you were gambling away thousands of dollars. And you think she should have been helping you? Family helps family, Dad insisted. Unless that family is your disabled son, apparently. Calloway tried to recover. He called character witnesses for my parents. Aunt Linda testified about what good parents they'd been when Isaac was young. A neighbor talked about how they'd always seemed like a nice family. But Patricia shredded each testimony on cross-examination. When did you last see Mr. and Mrs. Hayes actually caring for Isaac? When was the last time they took him to therapy? When was the last time they attended a school meeting? The witnesses couldn't answer. Because the truth was, I'd been doing everything for years. Then it was our turn. Mrs. Brennan testified first. She was brilliant, clear, concise, devastating. In 6 years, I've never seen Mr. or Mrs. Hayes at a parent-teacher conference. Hannah comes to every single one. She knows Isaac's academic goals, his struggles, his strengths. She works with him at home on homework. She communicates with me weekly about his progress. She is, for all practical purposes, his parent. Marcus Chen, the physical therapist, testified next. He had records. Attendance logs showing I'd been at 98% of Isaac's sessions over 6 years. Notes about how I practiced exercises with Isaac at home. Documentation of my questions and engagement. Hannah Hayes is the most dedicated caregiver I've ever worked with, he said. Most parents drop off their kids and leave. Hannah stays for the full session, takes notes, asks questions. She follows through on every recommendation I make. Even Sharon, my old manager from Target, testified. She talked about how I'd worked myself to exhaustion saving for the Disney trip, how I'd prioritized Isaac over everything else in my life. The girl barely had a social life, Sharon said. She turned down dates, skipped parties, never went out with friends. Everything was about Isaac. That's not normal for a 27-year-old, but it's exactly what Isaac needed. She sacrificed her own life to give him a better one. Then Patricia called me. I walked to the stand, my legs shaking. I'd practiced this, but actually being up there, with everyone staring, was terrifying. Patricia led me through my testimony, how long I'd been caring for Isaac, what a typical day looked like, how I managed his medical care, his education, his therapy, what our relationship was like. Isaac is my brother, but he's also my best friend, I said. I know his favorite foods, his favorite movies, what makes him happy, what scares him. I know when he needs space and when he needs a hug. I know him better than anyone. And your parents? Do they know him that well? I chose my words carefully. I think they love him. But love isn't the same as knowing someone. They don't know his routines. They don't know his triggers. They don't know what he needs. Then Calloway cross-examined. Miss Hayes, isn't it true you've only been working full-time for a few months? I started full-time at Disney in October. Before that, I worked part-time so I could be available for Isaac, so you don't have a long history of stable employment. I have a history of prioritizing Isaac over my career. Now that I have legal custody, I've transitioned to full-time work with benefits to better support him. You're 27 years old. Don't you think you're too young to be solely responsible for a disabled child? I'm not too young. I've been doing it for 6 years already. The only thing that's changed is the legal paperwork. What about your own life? Your own future? Don't you resent having to care for your brother instead of pursuing your own goals? I don't resent it at all. Isaac is my priority. He always has been. You say that now, but what about in 5 years? 10 years? When you want to get married? Have children of your own? Then Isaac will be part of that family too. Whoever I end up with will understand that Isaac is non-negotiable. Calloway tried for another hour to shake me, but I held firm. Patricia had prepared me well. When I stepped down, I caught my mother's eye. She was crying again. This time, I couldn't tell if the tears were genuine or strategic. The judge called for a recess. We had 30 minutes. Rebecca pulled me aside. You did great. Really great. It doesn't feel great. You held your ground. You didn't get defensive. You stayed calm. That's all you can do. When we reconvened, Judge Martinez looked tired. I've heard enough, he said. This is actually pretty straightforward despite everyone's attempts to make it complicated. He looked at my parents. Mr. and Mrs. Hayes, you committed multiple felonies against your own son. You stole his identity, destroyed his credit, forged court documents, and violated a restraining order. Multiple times. The only reason you want custody is to access his inheritance. You've made that abundantly clear through your actions. Your Honor, Calloway started. I'm not finished. The judge's tone was sharp. You want me to believe you've changed in the 2 weeks since you got caught? That you're attending meetings and getting help? But there's no evidence of actual change. Just words. And words don't mean much when your actions have been so consistently terrible. He turned to me. Miss Hayes, you're young. You're not wealthy. You don't have all the advantages parents typically have, but you've been Isaac's actual parent for years. You've put his needs ahead of your own. You've sacrificed your time, your money, your social life to care for him, and you've done it without being asked, without being legally required to, and without expecting anything in return. I felt tears building but blinked them back. The choice here isn't difficult, the judge continued. I'm granting permanent guardianship to Hannah Hayes. Mr. and Mrs. Hayes, you will have no custody rights. You may request supervised visitation in 6 months if you can demonstrate genuine rehabilitation and if Isaac agrees to see you. Until then, you are to have no contact with either Hannah or Isaac. He picked up his gavel. Furthermore, I'm ordering you to repay all fraudulent charges made in Isaac's name. That's $60,000 in credit card debt, plus the $890,000 you've spent from various fraudulent loans and cash advances. You will also pay restitution to cover Hannah's legal fees. Your Honor, my parents can't pay that, Calloway protested. They're bankrupt. Then they'll be paying it off for the rest of their lives. Bankruptcy doesn't discharge fraud debt, counselor. You should know that. The gavel came down with a sharp crack. Case closed. The courtroom erupted. Reporters rushed for the doors to file their stories. Extended families started arguing. Someone was crying. I just sat there, numb. It was over. Isaac was mine. Rebecca hugged me. Congratulations. Patricia joined in. You did it. You actually did it. Jennifer brought Isaac in from the waiting room. He took one look at my face and asked, Did we win? Yeah, buddy. We won. He hugged me tight. Can we go to Disney now? I laughed through tears. Yeah, we can go to Disney. Over the next few months, things settled into a new normal. My parents filed for bankruptcy, which was denied on the fraud debt. Their house was seized and sold at auction. It covered maybe half of what they owed.